Pregame.com.
Welcome back, Pregame.tv. Ken Thomson, Sir Dave Cokin, after a week off, much-needed rest there for Mr. Cokin. He's winning so many games.
It wasn't rest. It wasn't rest.
What was it?
It was a hot water heater blowing out. You know, what the hell? You can't shoot videos when you're waiting for the hot water guy to come.
That was great. I mean, getting this text was like, hey, this is not good. I'm in hot water. Well, literally.
Yeah, no, those are
You've been in hot water many times in your life.
It's not fun events when those things happen, especially when you don't expect it.
No doubt about it. All right, Cokes, we're in the heart of college basketball, so I know right now this is a good time of year for you and I as far as, just to watch all these games. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I mean, it can be frustrating as hell, too, because there's so many games and so many teams on the board now that you're going to miss some spots.
Right.
And then look at it afterwards and go, damn, I should have been on that game. But, you try and learn from it and don't make the same mistake the next time. And, of course, the college bowls are underway. And I should mention, college football game of the year was a miss. What was that, about a month, 6 weeks ago, something like that. Baylor gets out to the big lead, didn't hold on as far as the spread's concerned. But good news over the past weekend is the Giants were my NFL game of the year, and they delivered against the train wreck, otherwise known as the Washington Redskins. And that's part of the reason I made the play. And the game didn't go quite as though I expected it to go, because RG3 ended up in the game and actually looked good for a few minutes. And then he turned back into RG3 after that and started screwing things up, and worked out well with the Giants. Strategy
for Dave Cokin on bowl games, because I know so many come out, the spreads come out. Got to kind of, especially when they're outdoors, you got to look at weather, things like that as you get closer to the game.
And something I've learned over the past few years is that there's no rush. And you've seen, it happens every year. You're going to see numerous teams with some kind of off-the-field issues.
Yep.
And it can absolutely have an impact on the game. So, to me, even if you have to sacrifice a half point or a point in terms of value, wait and get the best possible information before jumping in.
There you go. I agree with that 100%. Okay, now we've got 5 games coming up on Saturday. Yep. One in our backyard right here in Vegas, Colorado State, Utah.
That should be a good football game. You pick your poison. You get Colorado State. Players not real happy about the coach leaving, and that's to be expected. The other side of it, though, is that they want to prove something against the Pac-12 school, and you always have to worry about interest on the part of the Pac-12 school that's playing somebody from the Mountain West. They've got a very good coach, though, at Utah, and didn't end the season the way they'd like to. So it's an interesting matchup. I think it's actually one of the better bowl games in terms of what should be a competitive battle.
I agree with you. And Utah missing the bowl season the last couple of years, so I think they'll be a little more hungry. Your take as far as that goes, when a coach leaves and is not going to be part of that bowl, where do you go?
It's 50-50. I mean, you have to try and examine the situation and see how the team is responding wherever possible. And that's there's less guesswork now than there used to be on that, because you've got bloggers who are close to the team, beat guys, you can find them on Twitter. They'll be tweeting out information, and you just got to, siphon through the meaningless stuff, the extraneous chatter that's out there, and try and find some meaningful stuff and take advantage of it.
All right, we've got the 5 bowl games. One of the games I'm going to be looking at, Dave's going to look at the other one in our second video. This first game will be Air Force. They are playing in Boise. They're up there on the blue field, a field that they're familiar with, at least the guys that are better than freshmen that have been around for a while. They did play Boise State at home this year in Colorado Springs, and they beat them 28-14. But this game will be up there, the famous Idaho Potato Bowl. They'll be going up against a Western Michigan team that started out like gangbusters and finished up 10-2 against the spread, but they lost the one they wanted the most at home against Northern Illinois to wrap up the season.
They did, but boy, a heck of a season for Fleck. They blew the Purdue game early in the season, which a game they probably should have won. And Fleck made some young coach mistakes, if you will. In the second quarter, he was trying to throw the ball against the wind. It didn't work out, and that's where they lost that football game. If Western Michigan got to play Purdue again, they'd beat him. He's got to be the MAC coach of the year. He's done, this was a really bad team last year, and look at the strides they made this year. They're playing Air Force, but remember, Air Force lost a key component to their offense in Owens, a very valuable guy. I did think they performed very well in their last game, though, without Owens and without the starting quarterback. Pearson was out, too.
Yep.
And I thought they put together a heck of a game. So, Calhoun can coach them up, and we'll see what happens in what should be a pretty good battle. Western Michigan is obviously going to have to be prepared to stop the option, but they've had some time to prepare for that.
There you go. And this line is flip-flopped. It's now Air Force -1.5. Initially, they were plus a 1.5. This is going to be my free play. I'm going to go ahead, going to make it official. And Western Michigan, again, a team you don't want to go against too often. Again, 10-2 against the spread. Anytime a team's got that 5-to-1 ratio, you got to tread lightly. But I think this Air Force team is playing pretty good. And also, I know you prepare for the triple option the best you can as far as, when you're at home and you're kind of going through there and getting the defense set to try and stop your guys that are trying to run that option. But quite frankly, you're not going to run it as well as Air Force. And Air Force ran it very well enough to finally get that Commander-in-Chief's trophy away from Navy. They beat the Middies. They took care of Army in a big way. And this is a pretty good team. And now Pearson is back at quarterback, and that's a big difference. Yes, the loss of Owens hurts, but you have 4 other guys out of the backfield that are all key contributors, guys that know their role. And again, it's the way that Pearson fakes that ball into the belly, pulls it back out. A lot of deception there, and I think Western Michigan will have trouble. They had a lot of trouble stopping the run against Northern Illinois in that final game at home. And again, it was a game that they won it. And quite frankly, they were playing the best ball of anybody in the MAC, and I thought they were going to get there. But Northern Illinois really exposed them as far as against the run. Jarvion Franklin, outstanding running back in his own right. Terrell, a pretty good quarterback. So Western Michigan has the weapons. Familiarity with that blue field, I think it's going to pay dividends for Air Force. They've been there before. Now, the weather, normally this time of year, going to be cold in Boise. Not the case on Saturday. Game time temperatures are going to look right around 40 degrees. There is a 20% chance of rain, as I checked the weather report. Always have to do that as you get closer to the game, especially when you're in a climate like Boise, where normally this time of year in December, it's going to be cold and you could get freezing rain. Instead, the temperature will stay right around 38 to 40 degrees throughout game time. And therefore, it will not affect. If it does rain, it'll be rain. So Cale Pearson and company looking for them to take care of business. Again, the loss of Owens hurts, but I think Air Force has enough there. You talk about Calhoun. He's a solid coach. Fleck's done a great job, but I'm going to go with the team from the Mountain West playing on the Mountain West field, the blue turf, and look for Air Force to take care of business, Dave.
And, of course, one thing you might have going for you, no guarantee history is going to repeat itself, but if you just bet against the MAC last year in the bowl games, congratulations and enjoy your new Mercedes because the MAC was just awful last year, and they might be again this year. We'll see. A
couple other stats. Air Force Academy, or I'm sorry, Service Academies, 26-12 against the spread in bowl games.
Now the discipline factor absolutely shows less likelihood of off-the-field distractions, shall we say, for the military schools. I don't think there's any question about that.
And the last one, MAC teams coming off a loss of 7 points or more are 2-13 straight up, 1-14 against the number in that bowl game following that loss there. So again, a trend that comes into play that, again, it's, a lot of these trends, I know the kids change, there's kids that graduate and move on, but still, it's a trend that's worth looking into.
Can't hurt, right?
Can't hurt. There you go. All right, Dave Cokin's got the next bowl game video. We'll do that when we come back. It's Ken Thomson, Dave Cokin, pregame.tv.